Playing off a couple of screens. Esquivel to Garcia. Off the deflection. Los Fresnos comes back and wins. Now Santa Maria will put up a three. Bang! Santa Maria!
Here's Warner. Here comes a head of the jam. Counted for two. The field. Adios! And the Falcons win on a walk-off. And it's saved. What a game.
Perez, that's my play, off the backboard, counting, and a win! And a win! Ryan Perez wins the game for the Santa Rosa Warriors, and they go nuts, and why not?
Well, welcome once again, everyone, to the Fruia Show. I'm Jacob Young. This is Real Sports Live Network, RSL, and it's going to be an exciting show. We have so much to talk about, so much to get through in this whole entire hour. It's 2:03 p.m., so we'll go until about 3:03. We'll try our hardest to do exactly that, to make it a full hour. It's an interesting day today. Of course, we talked a little bit about it. It's not too bad of the weather. Here in Brownsville, Texas, it's not too bad of the weather around the whole entire valley. It's just really, it's rainy. But for the most part, it's not that cold. It's around 71 degrees Fahrenheit. It's nice and fresh out, a little bit of humidity, but for the most part, there has been rain around all day. And driving over here through Los Fresnos about 30 minutes ago, it was pretty stormy. To be exact, it got a little dark there, but it's pretty nice in general. Like I mentioned, of course, before. And so this is going to be, of course, an exciting day of talking. And it's a very... We'll start off the show by talking about what is upcoming for the RSL Network. All of our games this weekend, including a game today, which should be very exciting. It involves Marine Military Academy and, well, Marine Military Academy. We'll get into that game, basically. I want to give you the exact details of when it all tips off and all that fun stuff. Now, of course, we'll talk a little bit about the game that I covered last night. We'll talk about, like we mentioned, the games coming up this weekend, and then we'll get into some fun stuff. Of course, the college football national championship was last night. We'll not end on that, but we'll talk a little bit about it, and then we will talk about, well, UTRGV has some big news from this past day. The transfer portal, I believe, is officially shut, which we'll talk about that, and the players who are going to be UTRGV Vaqueros this season, which is going to be fun for football. Of course, we'll talk about some fun stuff of the football side of things. Of course, the 24 Hours of Daytona is this weekend, so we'll talk about that and the drivers that are with it. Then there's, of course, some big news that happened this morning. We will get into that as well. That's going to be one of our first topics to talk about, because it was a massive thing that happened, which is, it just shocked the NASCAR world, at least my side of things, for the truck series. And there's a reason why my fit is the way that my fit is today, which, for those of you just listening in, I have on the Tony Breidinger crew neck, and I have on her Sunoco Racing Fuels cap when she was with the number 5 car. There we go. It should be better with all of that, but we get into it, of course. Let's start off quickly with, of course, the show. What to talk about right off the bat, let's see what RSL Network has going on for the rest of this week and what we will be expecting to cover here soon. So there we go. Okay, what is expected to be covered soon for the Sports Live Network this weekend? The drive. So I was just watching the internet really quickly just to make sure that we're stable. We are stable now. And we start off with, of course, Wednesday here today with, of course, the Luke Fruia show. Now, medical professions will be taking on Marine Military Academy at medical professions this today, to be exact. That tips off officially at 5:30 p.m. So that's an exciting start to the day. And then, of course, there will be no other games. No games scheduled for Thursday, but for Friday, this is a big day for girls basketball, boys basketball, and, of course, even some boys soccer. Should be exciting. Because those are more non-district soccer games. This is a big one, though. Right off the bat, Mission High, Mission Vets. That rivalry for basketball will be tipping off at 6 and 7:30. Myself will be covering that one. And it's going to be a very exciting one over at Mission High School. Then back 6 and 7:30 p.m. Edinburgh High and Edinburgh North. That one will tip off at the same exact time, 6 and 7:30. First one will be on the Mission channel, and then the second one will be, I believe, possibly on RSL 1. Yes, indeed. Another game that's just one single game. It's Edinburgh Academy in Brownsville Vets. That one will be kicking off, as it is boys soccer, boys soccer to be exact, at 5:30 p.m. The other two will be 5:30 and 7:30 for boys and girls soccer. So it should be very exciting for those games in store for this weekend, which, as you can tell, well, they're very exciting. Some of the games that we had, of course, last night were, well, interesting to say the least. My game ended up being the Pioneer and PSA North basketball games. The first one for the girls basketball game, we knew how elite PSA North girls basketball were, and we knew that Pioneer, the Lady Diamondbacks girls basketball team, were struggling during this season, as they've had a lot of new faces this year. And so coming into it, it looked like it was going to be an easy victory for PSJ North. What more can we say besides, well, PSJ North showed why they're one of the top teams in this district in 31-5A for girls basketball? Because, well, how can they be successful? It's simple. Full court pressure after a made basket has been key for that team's success. I ended up covering them lose earlier this season against McAllen Rowe. And it's now their second time. It's now their second round in district play. And PSJ North, they've already played against McAllen Rowe already. And they were able to be victorious in that game on the road. And the games so far that they've won, they've definitely avenged those losses early on this season, to the point of where, well, they faced off against Pioneer, a team that they had already beaten, and were able to win easily, convincingly as well. There were some struggles for this team where they could have easily, and this is true for girls basketball, they could have scored 100. PSG North turned the ball over tremendously in the first half of play, and they struggled, but were able to continue to build their lead, which was pretty interesting, to say the least, against Pioneer High School. And so that was something to keep an eye on and be excited about for this team. So given that kind of, and given PSG North's success for that game, I mean, Alexandra Gonzalez ends up scoring the most points with, I believe, 21 points, which was pretty exciting for herself. And then Madison Stanfield struggled a bit, but the whole team really were able to play well together and scored multiple points, getting over 70 points for that basketball game. Same goes for the boys basketball team. This was an interesting one for the boys basketball game because you go into it and here was the biggest thing for this team. Could they avenge that first district loss? PSG North, could they avenge that first district loss when they played against Pioneer High School? That was a big question mark for this team. That was a big question mark for that team in general. Since that game, they had not lost against, or they had not beaten Pioneer. Pioneer had not lost against PSG North from tournaments to district play. And PSG North are a great basketball team, especially when they can play really competitively and all around just be a great team. PSG North started off and they were shooting basically lights out. Pioneer struggled from the start, which was very interesting to say the least. I'd never seen the Pioneer Diamondbacks play the way that they played, which, again, they just struggled to score points. Missing easy shots, going to the free throw line, going 1 for 2 from the line. They opened up the scoring. It was 1-0. Muhammad Shouth was the player that scored their first basket of the game in the span of play, not off of a free throw, to be exact. That was something, of course, kind of going towards for this team. As for PSG North, like we mentioned, they were able to shoot lights out, where their leading scorer scored 21 points. PSG North basketball, that final score ended up being, and this was an impressive victory, 68-33. Winning that game was big for, puts PSG North in a good spot in second place in district. That's a guaranteed second position because we were wondering how that was going to look. And so, sure enough, PSG North get the victory, and just in dominant fashion. The box score, really, I mean, you don't necessarily have it, but Lopez scoring 21 points. He was that key. Check that. Garza scoring 21 points. Isaiah Garza was such a key player for this team. There's nothing more to really say besides dominant fashion that PSG North were able to win by Pioneer High School. again, it was shocking to see them struggle the way that they did. Every team has their off game. And for their sake, I hope that they learn a lot from that game. Same with PSJ North and how they can even get better, because there's going to be a tough team that they get to play against not too long from now. Let's talk a little bit about that for PSJ North. Their next game coming after this one is going to be against Vela at home. That's not an easy not an easy game. They still play at PSJ Memorial against McAllen Memorial High School. Will be interesting. The big one at McAllen High on the 6th of February. That is a game that will be on people's calendars, because that could not necessarily be for district, but just upsetting Mac High before playing against Cherryland High, against Rowe. It's going to be exciting for them. We're going to take a quick break. When we return, we're going to move on to our next topic. We're going to talk about these rankings that I saw not too long ago, because, I don't know, it's going to be fun to talk about it. And this is why RSL Network also puts out some rankings, too, for soccer, because, well, it just gets people talking. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to talk about these rankings, which is going to be very exciting. Be right back after this. Stay tuned.
Elevation, AT4, AT4X, Denali. Case closed. Fruia GMC. We're professional grade.
Kenny Perez came from a small town in Texas. At Kenny Perez Law, we won't stop fighting until our clients get what's rightfully theirs. We're right by your side, no matter what. Call Kenny Perez Injury Lawyers today, 956-999-1111.
Turn your passion into a powerful career at Texas Southmost College. Our automotive technology program will train you in everything from maintenance to full vehicle systems repair. Earn a certificate or associate degree and get certified to work as a C maintenance or B-level technician. You'll be guided by seasoned instructors who have decades of real-world automotive experience, helping you get ready to roll into the industry. So take the wheel and apply today at tsc.edu.
So, oh my goodness, as well, welcome back to the show here at Luke Fruia Buick GMC and Cadillac. If you're in the market for a new car, come check out Luke Fruia Buick GMC and Cadillac on Price Road, Old Alice Road, to be exact, right off the expressway. Well, I mean, it's a big day of news, and there's more news apparently that has just been released. We'll wait and see, of course, if it's officially just true news, to be exact, as in if some people didn't get duped and posted about it. We'll wait for a bit, but we are talking about the RGV top 10 boys and girls soccer teams, and it's interesting to say the least, because quickly it's an interesting list for especially the girls' soccer right off the start. People know where I live, or people know where I'm from. I'm from the Upper Valley. I did go to school at McAllen Memorial. I feel that I have to say that right off the start because people will think that I am a bit biased. This is interesting because it's just it's interesting. So I looked at the list and it instantly said that for on the girls soccer side, Harlingen would be first place. We'll give you, of course, a list of the top 10 here in a second. But it's interesting because let's take a look at the top 10. Really, we'll start off with the girls soccer teams. Harlingen High 1, McAllen Memorial 2, Mac High 3, Ed Calgelsa 4, Brownsville Rivetta 5, Brownsville Lopez 6, Valley View 7, La Jolla Juarez Lincoln 8, Los Fresnos 9, and Hidalgo 10. It's an interesting list. I really am interested in the pick of the top 10 just due to the fact of how other teams in the Valley have looked, to be fair. So Harlingen High, I understand why people would think that they're number 1 right now. I want to look at their teams that they've played so far. One is questionable as in I don't believe that they played them because for the McAllen schools in 31-5A, let me be clear, they cannot take a week off to play against a non-district team in general. The reason being, you have such a tightly compacted district that in the 10 teams that they play against, or sorry, really 18, you have in the, well, I guess in 9 teams in this district, one team will always have a bye week. So that actually might have been real. It's interesting because, let me look at this really quickly. Because it's a little confusing, to say the least. Because it said that Harlingen High girls soccer played against Sharyland High girls soccer this past Tuesday. Which is just interesting, but again, some teams, they don't like to take the bye week, they like to still play. And so that could be a possibility of that they ended up playing against Harlingen High. Because it did say that Harlingen High defeated Sharyland High 6-0. I'm not saying that Sharyland High are any much of a talented team. As in, I'm not saying that they're this powerhouse that's going to make the playoffs because I don't believe that. But I still don't believe that Harlingen High are the first-ranked team in the top 10 for this week at all. I would still put McAllen Memorial at number 1 just due to the fact of everyone can score on that team. Not just one player, everybody. And they are still in the girls' soccer side. My pick to finally get past one of those Leander schools and finally get to state. Finally get to that Elite Eight. And win their regional final. That is still my pick. Now, guess what? There's divisions, too, so I would say the same for the Mackay Lady Bulldogs. Though the Lady Bulldogs, it's interesting to note as well, for Mackay and the Lady Bulldogs girls soccer team, they've struggled just a bit this season, but they are 2-0 in district. They won 4-2 against McAllen-Rowe, which is interesting because you look at, of course, when McAllen Memorial played against McAllen-Rowe, the Lady Mustangs defeated McAllen-Rowe by a shutout. Same went for last night when they won 5-0 against PSJ Southwest. My whole point is those two teams still should be 1 and 2 in any type of ranking. If you're talking about, of course, the top 10 in all of the Valley, still, I think they're number 2. I think you still put Harlingen High at number 3, in my eyes. Ed Cal-Chelsea at number 4. I could see that. But again, I don't necessarily agree. Because I still believe you put the top 4 teams of the of 31-5 of those 4 teams. That's just my, that's just what I believe. I think Ed Cal-Chelsea definitely deserves to be around number 5 more than anything. Everything else basically just kind of goes down. It's really difficult for me to see the top or the 4A schools being anywhere on a top 10 list for at least girls soccer, just because I know how some of them played when they played against 5A schools, when they were 5A schools. That includes Valley View. That includes, well, it doesn't include Hidalgo, but I know that. Los Fresnos, putting them at number 9. Again, I see that. I don't agree with it. I think Los Fresnos, you probably put them at number 6. You probably put them on number 6. But that's just my take. That's just the way that I see it. I could be wrong. But who knows? Because that's just what I see. Now, of course, we can move on. My top 10 really is completely different than this, and it's a lot of 5A schools for girls soccer. Because, look, you can put Harlingen High in first. You can put a lot of these 6A schools in first for girls soccer, but they're going to crash and burn in round 2. That's just the way that it goes. So I just don't think that they're strong enough, and I don't think that they had the right roster, to say the least, to make it successful. Now, for the top 10 boys, this completely goes out the window now. I would say, for the most part, this top 10 is correct, with Brownsville Lopez 1, Sherryland High 2, Progresso 3, Edinburgh Economies 4, Brownsville Rivetta 5, Sherryland Pioneer 6, Los Fresnos 7th, La Jolla, Palmview 8th, with 9th being Hidalgo and 10th being Valiant. It's an interesting top 10. Just due to the fact of I mean, I can see one change. Just one change. Hidalgo and Valley View 9 and 10. Progresso at 3. I think if you're going to give that much love to Progresso, you have to factor in Valley View and you have to factor in Hidalgo. Because they're all in the same district. They all have to play each other once. And with that, if they have to play each other, you're going to see some distance, yes. So, in the end, I guess that's fair. But I just think 9 and 10 are a little too low for Hidalgo and Valley View. I think Hidalgo and Valley View can go over La Jolla Palmview. On the girls' side of things, girls' soccer side of things, I still have a lot of the top 10. Like, I would say this, and this is my take for sure. And we'll go back to the boys in a second, really quickly, because I kind of jump all over the place, but no love to Palmview, and no love to even Mission Vets. And why do I say that? Because those two teams right now are elite. And that girls' soccer game is going to be one for the ages that I believe Palmview can definitely take. And both of those two teams, I think, can go far. I think they can be third-round teams if the area round allows it. And I believe one of those schools can definitely defeat, potentially, if fourth place makes it to the second round in 31-5A, possibly. They do look good right now. Keep them in mind of them being outside looking in. I think that they deserve to be a part of that top 10. That's just me. That's just my take. Now, back to the boys. Right now, I believe Sherryland High can definitely defeat Brownsville Lopez. That is my feeling. I would flip them 1 and 2. Progresso, I get why they would be at number 3. Edinburgh Economies, I think they're too high right now at number 4. The reason being, yes, they're that good of a team, but I think you can definitely allow Brownsville or Ravenna to be in 4th place over Edinburgh Economies. It's the same way with the first two. I think that Economies would probably lose to Brownsville Ravenna early. That is just my take. Now for Sherryland Pioneer, I think they're fine in 6th position. It's completely fair because we don't know how they necessarily are too much yet. We will know more when they play against the rivals of Sherryland High. That Snakeskin Classic match, those two matches are going to be amazing in my eyes because, look, Sherryland High, they won 2 goals to 0. The way that this Rattler team plays during their season, they play, if they have a 2-goal advantage, they don't necessarily feel like they need to extend it too much. They have their opportunities, they try and take them, but the coaches are a little conservative and decide to back off when they have that 2-goal advantage. And it's fine, it works out for them because they have chances, but mainly it's just, okay, keep possession. They have the lead, and now they just keep possession, win the midfield battles, and intimidate their opponents to the point of where their opponents are frustrated and commit more fouls against them to have an opportunity to maybe get a 3rd goal or anything like that. That's the way that Sherryland High play. So if they take an early lead, that is a big thing in any of their matches. Again, Sherryland Pioneer don't know necessarily where they're at the moment. And Los Fresnos, I think, are a perfect fit in 7th. La Jolla Palmview, I can see them in 8th. And Hidalgo and Valley View, for the most part, 9 and 10, I get it. Again, we'll know more when they play against Progresso, when they play against each other during the regular season. And all of that is going to be true. That's just my take. I think that top 10 for the boys soccer is fair. But there definitely can be some changes. Not saying that there would be, but can be. Now, there was big news that happened this week, and I will talk about it. The Mission Veterans Memorial head coach for the boys soccer team has, I believe, resigned, so there will be a new head coach for them. And he ended up getting a job offer somewhere else as, I believe, an engineer, so he has officially left, which will have some implications on their season probably this year, and also possibly down the line during the summer for the RGV Red Crowns as Coach Rafa. He was their head coach for the RGV Red Crowns. Don't know if that will change. We'll keep you posted as much as possible. That was news not too long ago, and that is why that is big, just on that whole side of things. It's almost 2:40, so we are going to take a quick break. When we do return, we're going to talk about some big racing news coming up here next. We will touch up on the College Football National Championship as much as possible in this time. We'll be right back after this. Stay tuned. I'm Jacob Young. This is Rio Sports Live Network.
That's going to be a fumble recovered by the Cardinals.
No matter where you are in life, Texas Southmost College is here to help you move forward. Whether you're starting fresh, changing careers, or gaining new skills, TSC has affordable programs designed to fit your goals. It's time to take the next step. Think big. Think bright. Think TSC.
This summer, settle in and reconnect with one another. South Padre Island has so many great places to stay. Condos, resorts, and hotels. Oh my! Book your summer getaway today. And start making memories poolside with the people you care about most. Visit SoPadre.com.
It means a lot to me. TSC has changed me to make me realize that I can accomplish things. Just don't give up. I've come a long way from where I was to what I am now, and there's no limit to where I'm going.
Permatemp Personnel Services has been servicing local businesses for the past 29 years.
Leave the hiring to us. Let us become your personal hiring guru.
We have a network of skilled employees to fit your needs.
Your success is our strategy.
Don't hesitate, call us now.
Back we go once again to hear from Luke Fruia, Buick GMC and Cadillac. If you're in the market for a new car, we'll check out Buick GMC and Cadillac. Again, I'm Jacob Young. This is Rio Sports Live Network. Big news, big breaking news to be exact here that has happened in the past hour, a couple hours to be exact. And this one literally just came in about right as I was talking about the top 10 soccer teams, which this is absolutely crazy. And it was officially made by the driver herself. That is Haley Deegan. We'll start off with the Haley Deegan news, and we'll move to the Tony Breidinger news right after. The big thing that just happened is Haley Deegan. Let's start from the beginning. Of course, her father is Brian Deegan. We all know that, or most people do, but just in case you didn't, that is her father. Then you move on to that next side of things that we've talked about before. With it being Tony Breidinger, the next one, basically, it was, with Haley Deegan, she moves on. She goes into the ARCA West series from the start of her career, then goes to the ARCA Menard series, which is the next step up after that, about a year later, joining Ford. After that span, her sponsors put her in the Truck Series. She struggled a bit in the Truck Series, did not have as much success as she would have liked to have in the Truck Series, to say the least. And then right after that, was interesting. Much in that one because of, well, we go back to the frustrating part of just that team was AMR Racing. They're not good. And so Haley Dean leaves NASCAR on different terms, basically, from the Xfinity Series, and goes into IndyCar, tries to make it there with the Indy Next. Struggled there, probably didn't necessarily like it that much, and goes into, well, just now that Haley Dean officially, as she has announced on her Instagram page, that she will be back at Bill McAnally Racing full-time in the ARCA West Series. People thought that she would expect to move over to back to the Truck Series, probably with Ram, but that it did not end up happening. So, of course, in her Indy Next career, she was with a team that was with Chevrolet. So the team is with Chevrolet, is Bill McAnally Racing. She will be in the ARCA West Series full-time, running the number 16 car, which is one of the more powerful cars that I recall over in the ARCA West Series that won a lot of races. She has been successful in the ARCA West. She won 2 races in her ARCA West career with Toyota and Bill McAnally Racing. I would expect her to win a lot more this time around, and she's going to get back into the swing of things. This is where I think her bread and butter really is, and again, I really do expect her to do well. She knows Phoenix. She knows a lot. She knows she's a lot more experienced than when she just dove into it as a 19-year-old racer. I think everyone, honestly, is excited about this. We just didn't expect her to go all the way down to ARCA West. Now for the Toni Breidinger news. Toni Breidinger, of course, she started off her career as well with Chevrolet, but not full-time. She had a lot of funding issues and now finally had that opportunity to go into the Truck Series after her ARCA series, her successful 2 years in ARCA, full-time, I should say. And what do I mean by successful? She learned a lot and ended up having a lot of speed and had some top 10s and showed that she could be successful. Well, goes into the Truck Series, her rookie season in the Truck Series last year with Tricon Garage, which was really cool. She had an interesting time. I'm sure that she learned a lot that season. And now officially ended up moving teams. So that was a crazy thing. Is we didn't expect her to move out of the Toyota field. And Toni Breidinger officially announced today that she's excited to begin this new chapter and join Team Chevy, Rackley Warren, to be exact, which is in the Truck Series. So she goes to Team Chevrolet and joins the Truck Series. Joins them for the Truck Series, to be exact, which is exciting for her. And we're looking forward to seeing how that's going to play out because she had success with Tricon Garage. And I think TRD were limiting her, not necessarily exposure, but just the deal got smaller and smaller, where the amenities of her going and being able to practice in a different series for road courses kind of fell through, and all of this other things because a lot of Toyota drivers, Toyota Racing Development drivers ended up leaving. So that's very interesting to say the least. Now she will be at Chevy. So a new chapter for her is very exciting. Looking forward to seeing how that will all end up playing out for her career. We're looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to it as well. It's very exciting. Moving on. Now that, of course, all that racing talk is done and dusted, one more racing topic to talk about. It's the 24 Hours of Daytona this weekend, which is going to be very exciting. One thing, of course, to mention is, of course, a couple of racing drivers, and one of them being Samantha Tan Racing. We mentioned her earlier this year that she didn't have any plans for a minute, and things looked a little skeptical, but she ended up having a ride, and it's still Samantha Tan Racing, but with Random Vandals Racing. So teamed up with them, and still with BMW, of course, so that's very exciting. She will be racing this weekend as well. Today was actually media day for them, and her first free practice of this weekend to really shake down the car from the roar before the 24 a week ago. So one of the cool things about that is, well, racing in that BMW Endurance Cup this weekend. It's a 4-hour race at Daytona on Friday. That should be very exciting for her. She has, of course, a couple of teammates. Bill Oberlin will be her teammate for this race, and I believe for the whole season. So that's very exciting. Her and Bill Oberlin, she actually raced with him in the GT World Challenge Americas Series in the GT3. It was for her team. It was herself and Neil Verhagen for all of that season. And then they added JC Dupree in the next one for the final race. And they had a pro car, which was driven by Varun Choksi and Bill Oberlin. So under all of that, she got to work with Bill, which was a big, I'm sure, a massive help for herself in general, and now gets to race with him in the same car with the same team. It's still under Samantha Tan Racing with Random Vandals Racing, which is great. We're looking forward to seeing how and what she can do. We're looking forward to her fighting for a championship this year as well, and doing very well in their class, in the GSX class to be exact, this season for the Pilot Challenge. That's their biggest step forward with Random Vandals Racing. I would expect, if anything, for her to be able to have that type of success, and hopefully with that partnership be able to potentially field a car next year in IMSA for the WeatherCheck Sports Car Championship. So moving on. Now that we've, of course, talked about all of that, good luck to Samantha Tan Racing and Samantha Tan, of course. Let's move on to, well, college football. A little bit of college football talk for you all as we've hit, of course, 2:50 p.m. The biggest thing, of course, was the national championship on Monday. It was expecting a bigger blowout, to be exact, for Indiana to destroy Miami. That was not the case in the slightest. It was a lot closer of a game. The Miami Hurricanes kept it interesting, to say the least. Unfortunately, of course, for any Aggie, it was a frustrating game to watch, but it had remnants of the playoff game back at Kyle Field. Carson Beck, of course, the starting quarterback for the Miami Hurricanes. He was successful. As much as he was all season long, just didn't impress me. Fernando Mendoza had a good play, and of course they were able to lead by 2 touchdowns, and then all of a sudden the gap closed very quickly, and it continued with that trend. Your final score, of course, being, I believe, 27-24. We'll double check that for you all once again. The Indiana Hoosiers are your national champions, 27-21. The Indiana Hoosiers are your national champions. They are another team to win a college basketball national championship and a college football national championship as a program. And very, very successful. A great job for that team and organization and everyone. Just, you couldn't write it better than how it all happened. Really good job by the Indiana Hoosiers to win that national championship. It was a great game. Was hoping that Indiana would kind of blow them out of the water a little bit more. But that was a big pressure-filled moment, and they were able to get the job done in the end. Now, of course, moving on. This was a big thing that I wanted to talk about. Of course, it was kind of new news. I'm sure that this happened sooner than anything, but a little bit longer, to say the least. And I know that I posted it here not too long ago. But there we go. UTRGV, of course. This was 1 day ago. UTRGV, 13 new faces, big-time experience. UTRGV football announced the addition of 13 new signees, including 7 former FBS players and 4 with Power 4 experience as Vaqueros continue building momentum. And this was a big thing in general, of course, because Garrett Ronhell, the quarterback out of Oklahoma State and Virginia Tech. Reed Mikeska, tight end out of South Carolina and Florida Atlantic. Malachi Lane out of LSU. He is the running back, the backup running back out of LSU. And then Jaden Smith out of North Texas. Alex Green out of Tulsa, and James Bailey, an offensive lineman out of Texas A&M. I do remember him. And New Mexico. Just remembered his name. Walker out of the linebacker out of Tulsa University and Navarro Junior College. And Henry shouting out of the left back, the linebacker out of none other than Bentley University. An edge out of Sacramento State. And a couple of others that went to West Texas A&M, Glenn College, Southwestern College, and Mesa College. So a lot of JUCOs, to be exact, for this team, but also out of junior colleges, a lot of players out of junior colleges and a lot of players out of just prime places. This was the biggest thing that I had worried for this team was the quarterback situation. And that quarterback situation, of course, from the UTRGV Vaqueros was, okay, Eddie Lee Marburger is gone. Their backup quarterback doesn't have this type of experience. What are they going to decide to do? And the window was open for transfers. The transfer portal was officially open for a long time, and they weren't getting any bites for a while. Of course, the big players ended up going to Texas A&M University, Texas, Arkansas, Alabama. Well, really Alabama, going to Auburn, LSU, those schools, Oklahoma as well. Some transferred over to OU, and Notre Dame, too, ended up getting some transfers. there were about 2 days left of the portal, and still no bites, or not that the media and players were aware of. The media and fans, I should say, were aware of. That was a big pull, is getting 13 players from that transfer portal for UTRGV. The biggest thing, of course, will be for UTRGV. Yes, they need to fill a lot of those spots. They were able to do so, I think, with the transfers. Yes, you get a couple of players that transferred out from UTRGV. And you got a couple of players that ended up that will get to go to different colleges and, of course, recruits. That's the biggest thing. I'm interested to see how it's all going to play out, as UTRGV ended up finishing 4th place in their conference last year. Some may say that was great. As for myself, I'd say even if they wanted to, they couldn't even get a bid to go to the playoffs for that year. So there's a lot like that. It's going to be interesting to see how UTRGV do face off this year. The biggest thing, I'm still going to say it, all will happen with the one game, the week 1. That will have answers of this whole team. If UTRGV are able to keep it close against UTSA, they should be solid for the rest of their season. If UTRGV get blown out by UTSA, there will be a lot of questions that will need to be answered throughout the season, and I'd expect them to go back to 3rd or 4th place. If they go 3rd place, there is a chance for an at-large bid into the playoffs. I don't expect them to make it, though, 3 or 4, potentially, if that happens. Yes, it's all about conference play, but they've built a roster with players that have Power 4 experience. So those players need to prove that they still have that Power 4 experience and beat a team like UTSA. Because I don't think UTSA are that good. I really don't. I really, really don't. But that's just me. Yeah. I'm looking forward to that season. It's still a year away. The college football playoffs literally just finished 2 nights ago. It's going to be a lot of talking throughout this offseason about UTRGV, Vaqueros football. Because right now, the basketball team have not been too strong. UTRGV baseball, though, looking forward to that. That baseball season is around the corner. Shocking pitch. And that will be exciting, too, because that team just missed out on an NCAA baseball bid to a regional that would have seen the most likely play in Austin, of all places. So it's stuff like that that's very exciting. And we'll see how it all goes. We'll see how it all plays out. I'm looking forward to it. I know everyone will be too. That's really going to do it for us here on Rio Sports Live Network, here from Luke Fruia Motors, Luke Fruia Buick, GMC, and Cadillac. There's not much else to really talk about. We covered everything that we basically wanted to cover here this afternoon. Again, big news. Congratulations to Haley Deegan on getting a ride. Congratulations to Tony Breidinger on officially signing with another team. Hopefully there's more success than she had last year. The Daytona 500 weekend. The Daytona 250, that should be a fun race. Hopefully she survives that and gets a top 10 to a potential top 5 out of it this year. Looking forward to all of that racing. Looking forward to everything that's coming up this weekend, too, for Rio Sports Live Network. But, yes, like I said, that's going to do it for us. I've been Jacob Young. This has been a Rio Sports Live presentation, and until next time, we'll see you.